All right, welcome back to KTN Prime. It's now time for the studio conversation as touted earlier on. And we're having this conversation at a time when it's incumbent upon all of us as Kenyans to condemn all forms of political violence, which keep on rearing its head time and time again, especially after the ugly scenes that rocked the Linda Mwananchi tour of Homa Bay County over the weekend. You saw the scenes of chaos, violence, destruction of property, including 2 lives lost. And that was witnessed just yesterday as Linda Mwananchi leaders moved through the county for rallies in Nyandiwa, Sindo, and Homa Bay Town. Of course, you saw some of the roads were blocked, the main roads with stones and logs. Vehicles were vandalized. Several people, including journalists, members of the Fourth Estate from Media Max, Standard Group, AFP as well, were injured during the clashes, and reports of a police officer being among those 2 people who lost their lives. And this is one of the issues we'll be conversing with my panelists, because they're members of parliament, and at the end of the day, perhaps they can exercise their power to call the authorities, those in charge of the security docket, to account for what exactly is happening in the country. Allow me to introduce the guest joining me in studio, CPA Julius Ruto, the Member of Parliament from Keses constituency. Karibu sana to our panel. How's Keses?
Asante Keses, we are okay. We are happy and we are moving on well. It's unfortunate that rains were down, but it's coming up. So we are reconsidering going back to farm to salvage food security, because drought has
it definitely affected the country's food basket.
Well, we are okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Asante for your time. Equally joined by Esther Passaris, the woman representative from Nairobi County. Passaris, it's great to have you with us. It's been a while.
I know. Yeah, you don't make me happy, so I keep away.
Why? Personally
or
the...
Your headlines.
Oh, the headlines.
Yeah, I need you to be a bit more patriotic.
Some would say we are, standing with the people.
Negativity is not patriotism. Positivity is.
Okay, but when bad things happen, shouldn't we talk about them?
You can see both bad things in a positive way.
Okay, okay.
But happy to be here.
Asante.
You know, I come because of you. You're neutral.
Thank you. We'll try and do that.
I can't say much about the organization, but you're neutral.
Asante. Equally joined by the Member of Parliament from Matungulu constituency, Stephen Mule. Karibu sana.
Asante.
How's your constituency, Matungulu?
Matungulu is cool.
Yeah.
We are celebrating the great of investments we have done in education. We can confirm to Kenyans at least we have gotten 3 schools, high schools, to the national status: Matungulu Girls, Tala High School, and Tala Girls High School.
That's a good job.
And this is because of the investments we have done in those particular schools on the infrastructure. It's a great honor. At least we have 3 national schools in 1 constituency.
You know what they say, education is the greatest equalizer, so we can't frown upon that. Thanks for making time in Karibu to our studios. Equally joined by Mark Mwenje, the Member of Parliament of Embakasi West. Mwenje, karibu sana. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Embakasi West, iko salama?
Embakasi West is okay.
Okay.
We have our challenges like everyone else.
Yeah.
Trying to get by, get our youth get some jobs. So it's every day is just waking up, trying to stay positive and trying to get something to do at the end of the day. But otherwise, we're grateful. We're just in the fight out there.
Asante. Thanks for honoring the invite as well. So, ladies and gents, let's get to the crux of the matter. So much talk about the unfortunate incidences that played out in Homa Bay County, as highlighted as I was setting the stage. It's quite unfortunate, and we all need to call out these instances of political violence, because a few months to the general election, it could be a recipe for disaster, and we don't want a situation where the country slides to anarchy. Just to set the pace for the conversation, let's listen in to some of the leaders across the political divide and what they had to say. I'd like to start with the Wiper Patriotic Front Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka and the DCP leader Rigathi Gachagua. And mind you, Gachagua was on the receiving end. I think it was in Nakuru or over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, thereabout, where part of his convoy was attacked by quote-unquote goons. Let's listen to what they had to say as we listen to other leaders as well. Briefly.
Alisema goonism imeisha. What has happened? Kama goonism imeisha, kwa nini Gachagua na wenzake wakapigwa mawe Nakuru? Hatutaki Kenya iwe mahali ambapo wananchi hawawezi kuruhusiwa wapate haki yao kikatiba kwa kuchagua viongozi ambao wanawataka bila wao kushurutishwa kwa matisho na kupigwa.
Sasa anapatia Wajaluo pesa, aumize Wajaluo. Anapatia Otieno pesa, aumize Ouma. Sasa wale Wajaluo wanaua Wajaluo wenzao. Sasa wewe Ouma, mbona unachukua pesa uumize Otieno? Wewe Odhiambo, mbona uchukue pesa uumize Okechi? Na watu ya Ruto jamii yake Kibet, Cheriot wanapelekwa jeshi. How foolish are we?
Well, that's part of the political divide, speaking on the issue of goonism. But journalists who were covering the event yesterday were equally targeted. Let's listen to my fellow colleagues from MediaMax and one of them right here from Standard Group on how that ordeal actually transpired in their line of duty. Just listen in.
Tukakaribia Homa Bay Town. Ndio watu walitokea nyuma sides. Wale polisi tulikuwa na wao wakajaribu kurusha tear gas, but I think hao watu walikuwa wengi overpower. So gari zikaanza kutoroka zikielekea Homa Bay Town, na tulipokuwa tunaenda kuchange lane gari yetu ikazima. Ukiangalia kuna some stitches nilishonwa, na hiyo panga nilikuwa nimevaa hii. Ukiangalia hapa kuna makia ya panga nilikuwa nimevaa hivyo, so panga haikuingia ndani, iligonga hii. Nashukuru Mungu niko uhai.
A young man alitoka huko amebeba panga, gari zilikuwa mingi, but he headed straight to window mali mimi nilikuwa nimekaa, na akaingiza panga hapo moja tu hapo mali nilikuwa nimekaa tu, but because I was seeing him nilisonga nyuma, so panga haikunifikia. What happened, your glasses zilisplash, but because tulikuwa tuna move I was hata sikuangalia nini, lakini sasa kilifanya tukajua alikuwa targeted. The moment tu jamaa alipiga tu panga hapo, what followed next, mawe ilirushwa hapo mahali tulikuwa tumekaa. Kwa hiyo same place man amekata panga.
CP Ruto, I'd like to begin with you on this, because political competition should not be confused with personal hostility. Political differences should not be settled through violence rather than through ideas and through the ballot. When you hear such statements of the violence that transpired, what comes to mind in terms of the problem we're facing as a country and the solution that we can have in order to avoid sliding into a state of anarchy?
First of all, it's an unfortunate incident to experience at this time and moment when Kenya, we are fighting of democracy. I think in African countries and more so in the world, we say Kenya is a leading country in terms of democracy, and like even the regional countries where they are still in autocratic dictatorship, where they enjoy peace. But I think this is the sad side of democracy that we are fighting to enjoy. I want to condemn this with all times possible, because it is not right that when we disagree as to matters of opinion, I don't allow you to express yourself. It is not right. It is the worst to even take an object and attack your friend or your neighbor. It is. The best thing to do whenever I disagree with you is to walk away. I don't need to attend that meeting and probably organize my own other meeting and showcase my might. In any case, all this together, it only ends at the ballot. When you alone with your vote, you can cast where you want. All these things is a question of listening, who will please you better than the other one, who will tell you, who will convince you, who will inspire hope in you. But nonetheless to say, again, let's go back to where it starts. Because as we look at this, it's not the right thing to point fingers on the other side or the other one. Because all this thing called goonism is a question of all politicians. Because I've realized, even for those who are pointing fingers at the others, bagging them, they have rough guys behind it. I've seen some leaders like Rigathi the other day in Kiambu saying, well, stop disturbing my meeting, or I will unleash those statements. Tell you, even that in that meeting, he was prepared with a team to engage. So it shows it is something, it is a pattern that is rising at the current politics. And it's not only on national politics, as we speak like this, even on our own local politics. Even in our own local politics, we still fear the same thing to happen, because we've seen some attacks here and there. Like I've been saying, I'm on record always calling out on some issues in Eldoret where some politicians, because of just intolerance on someone raising a voice against how you believe or some things you are committing, and then you engage youths to go and attack, directly looking for that person, even at night, and harming. There was one guy who had to be in ICU for over a month or so because of such attack. But again, as we look at the actions that are happening like yesterday or over the weekend, let's also see the recipes of this. The recipe of this one is how we speak, is how we talk, is how we attack, is how we profile. Because whenever you're on microphone, like now I've seen the Gade Gachagua saying, yes, he's mentioning a community in Luo Nyanza. But again, likening to a community in another side and saying, these ones are being employed in military, or these ones are attacking. What does that tell you? It already sells a feeling on one community, feeling this other one is being targeted or being attacked, being profiled. What I'm saying as leaders is, can we raise our level better than that and speak on the issues as to why we believe in this persuasion and persuade people than profiling other communities over the other one? Because you profile this one will say, oh, you are undermining me, you are seeing me like I don't deserve to be. I mean, all of us are equal and we deserve to be in the same phase. So let us mind our words that we speak. Let us mind the way we conduct our politics. Let us mind on the way we mobilize our people, and let us compete on the aspect of agenda, not on the aspect of profiling community against the community. Like this one, let us condemn goons. It's not about Luos, it was about goons. It was not about Luos. Luo Nyanza, Homa Bay, I know it's inhabited by Luos, the Akisis, have been there severally. There are other communities, even Gikuyus, who are doing business, they are there. And there could be even their business were affected. So it's not a question of one community against the other one. But what we are saying is, let us target our attack, or what we are calling out, on the character of the people. And I would also expect the police, by now they should be advancing and telling us who are behind this. And we should stop being aspect of being told investigation is underway. For how long? We want to see the results of investigation. Indeed. And for those who are found to be planning on this one, they should be held into account. Number two, I've also seen people pointing fingers at, I've seen a paper, I don't know if it's from Standard or where, saying that who will save Kenya? And you are picking IG photo, you are picking PS photo, you are picking government officials, even the minister.
Yes.
Where are the other politicians from the opposition who are also planning and they are known? I should expect to be seen, if police, you want to target police that they are not doing their work, then tell us also who are sponsoring on the other side, so that there will be fairness. But the moment we use this one and continues spewing negativity on our people. The other day we had the issue of GNC coming in. It was an unfortunate incident. But at the level it had gone, police had to engage. But the moment the police will be engaging at that equal energy and measure, at times it's not friendly. Because those people who are carrying machetes in Homa Bay, tell me if the police would come. Would you expect police to go with a hand or a whip against that person? The next thing police would use is a bullet. And that will come out the following day. Standard will be saying, police are attacking Kenyans, innocent Kenyans. At that time, it turns to be innocents. So if police stays aside, police, where are you? So where is the real thing? Where is the real game on this?
If perhaps you interacted with Sunday's edition of The Standard, you'd have seen, actually, yes, today's edition of The Standard, the front page and the back page, we put photos of this machete-wielding goons. So today's or tomorrow's paper is all to do with accountability.
Should now tell us, if police are not doing their work, they're not sponsoring. I mean, carry the right message to Kenyans.
And that's a good question. Who exactly is sponsoring?
That is it now. Tell us that. Because other than pointing fingers and we are not attacking the real issue, we keep propagating. We are just sustaining the fight against the government, and then we are losing on the real battle, on the real issues where it is.
Well, it's not really sustaining a fight against government, it's calling the leaders to account. And perhaps this bites will put context to this particular discussion, because the Interior Ministry, starting with the PS Raymond Omolo, last week Thursday, had this to say ahead of the Homa Bay meeting. Let's just listen in to what he had to say.
We have an elaborate security plan, which is what we must do before the elections, what must be done during elections, as well as what has to be done after the election. The good thing is not the first time this country is going into an election. So we have a lot of experience, even going back to the last election of 2022, where our security actors did their very best. As a PS in charge of internal security, the position is very clear. Everybody is free to go anywhere. And while at it, the expectation is that we must observe law and order.
I hope you heard that. Everyone is free to go anywhere. You must observe law and order. So if the powers that be speak that, and that's not the case, let me even put another spanner in the works. The CS for Interior, Kipchumba Murkomen, on Friday had this to say in regards to, securing political meetings. Briefly.
Functions are safe, and their meetings are very safe, because Kenyans deserve services not based on their person they are competing with or they are supporting in politically. And therefore, I want to ask all these elected politicians and those who are aspiring, even as they campaign this weekend in Homa Bay, in Nakuru, in other places, please make sure that when you go to your meeting, go peacefully. When a person has their meeting, allow them to do their meeting and finish and go. You come and do your meeting another day. Because there's no need to, if you do not have subscribed to a policy.
Okay, it was just a small extract from what he had to say during that graduation. Pasaris, let's speak about accountability, because at times it might be convoluted that we're being negative as members of the Fourth Estate, yet we are calling the powers that be to account. If you give an assurance that there will be peace, yet there was no peace, while we call out your statements, are we really being negative?
When you look at the magnitude of people that we had in Homa Bay,
yes,
and yes, there was a bit of skirmishes around. We lost, I hear, 2 lives. We've got about 40 people injured. Now, who has to take stock of this? I want to commend the forces, because they were definitely, it could have been worse, all right? So the fact that they were able to arrest the people that had the machetes in advance, that to me says that the police force were on standby, they had their intelligence, and they basically aborted quite a number of things that could have gone wrong. Now, the thing is, I think as leaders, when you have leaders of the opposition talking, like Babu Owino having a statement saying, we're coming to Homa Bay to colonize, all right? And then when you have a clip that is circulating of Orengo with people around him carrying machetes, he's a lawyer. There's a maxim in law that he who wants equity must come to equity with clean hands. So the thing is, how can Orengo go and speak about the goons and machetes when he himself is amongst people that are carrying machetes? All right? So, and I think we need responsible politics. We need to talk to our people about issues. Gladys Wanga, as the governor, welcomed everybody, all right? Said, come, you can go anywhere in Kenya, but come, do your rally and do it peacefully. Now, if people went and blocked the roads, all right, we have to understand that we have 1 policeman for 500-600 Kenyans, all right? And when the youth, I want to speak to the youth. I really pray that the ones that have been arrested, right, if the evidence is sufficient, because next you'll see the same Babu Owino going to court to defend them and to remove them. So for me, it's like we are continuously making it very difficult for the police force to do its job effectively. So I think we need to make a decision as a country that we cannot have this going on. If it's going on now, what is going to happen in 2027. Responsible politics. Go, do your rally, and leave. There's too many threats, there's too much chest thumping, there's too much incitement, and then there's disrespect of the office of the presidency. There was disrespect of the office of the governor. Gladys Wanga, the chairperson of ODM, is one of the best performing governors in Kenya.
Fact.
Okay, fact. She has done projects that are amazing. And then you go, you cover yourself with dust, you do kipindi, you create drama, and you try and make it look like the area is not developed. Where they went, the dusty road, is a road that is actually being repaired. So of course you're going to have dust. I mean, right now if you drive through Naivasha, there's dust everywhere because the road is being repaired. So for me, I mean, let us give credit where it's due. Let us come to the people and say, this is what we can do better. Ruto must go cannot be an agenda. Disrespect of the office of the president, for me, yet you want to occupy that office, shows that you're not worthy to occupy that office.
Okay. So, but political sanity is one of the silver bullets. What about accountability? Yes, machete wielding gangs were arrested before and after, but the violence still transpired, irregardless of assurances from the powers that be.
Do you know, there's certain things that go with the territory. When you have that kind of magnitude of people, all right, and you have tension, and you've got opposite sides. Kenya is always split right bang on in the middle. We've always seen, we've got opposition and we've got government supporters. So I think it's important that when you're going for a rally, go with peace. Go with the right message to the community. Don't go there and say, oh, we're coming to Homa Bay to colonize. Like, you're disrespecting the leadership that is there. So for me, I think it starts with us, the politicians. But the police force, I believe, did an amazing job, all right? They did an amazing job. Now it's a question of making sure that the evidence is put together properly. They take it to court. And I want to see some of these youth that have been misused, that have done the wrong thing, arrested, charged, and thrown in.
Okay.
Because when we start having people made to be accountable for their crimes, then only will we be in a position to stop it. But a lot of people get away, and it's not because I think we need to have a buy-in, all right? So they have to build, it's the police, it's the DCI, and it's the judiciary. Let us all start punishing these crimes. Because, we have a population that is unemployed, that will be thrown a little amount of money and will go and do the wrong thing because they think they can get away with it. So I believe that we need accountability. Each and every one of us has to be accountable. When I was campaigning with Shebesh, for instance,
briefly, yeah.
All right?
Yeah.
When we were campaigning with Shebesh, there's a time she was at Uhuru Park, and some of the what we call goons went and attacked her, not because I sent them, because they felt that they needed to go and do it. So when I found out, I reprimanded all of them. And I said, no, you're not going to be part of my campaign team and you're going to attack my opponent.
All right.
And I actually said, you have to go and apologize. This is not going to happen. So it's us leaders to give direction to our constituents and to our youth.
Interesting.
Not to misuse them.
Yeah, and perhaps as Mule comes in, he'd be quick to argue that why is it that only opposition meetings seem to be interrupted by instances of political violence? And perhaps you'll speak to that at the end of the day. Do you feel that NCIC, that DCI, that DPP are actually independent bodies, or they have been captured to perhaps serve political interests? What's your argument when we speak about accountability?
Thank you very much. First and foremost, I want to condemn the violence which you have seen over the weekend to the strongest term possible, because we are all Kenyans. We live in Kenya and we don't have any other country to go because of politics. But I don't want to sugarcoat anything. The rally for Homa Bay had been announced probably 2 weeks ago, and we need to be candid enough. The security apparatus from the PS, internal security, the CS, internal security, and the entire security team in the country failed the country because it was only one rally at Homa Bay. They should have put mechanism in place and make sure that they move the police, because they work with intelligence, and they knew very well. They started talking about tension even before the rally happened. They should have mobilized all the police officers in Rift Valley, in Nyanza, and Comb in Homa Bay, and make sure that the rallies are peaceful. Tell me, where on earth whereby you wake up and you find all the tarmac road are barricaded, yet you have a DCI, you have an East officer, you have a chief, you have the Nyumba, the community or Nyumba Kumi. So the entire blame, I can tell you for free, lies with the people in the security docket. Because if it was me, there was no rally in Kisii. So why were the police in Kisii just left in Kisii? There was no rally in Kisumu. When you know that, and this is where the problem is, and this is a very huge problem if we are not careful. Next year, we'll be having rallies across the country. The police will be completely overstretched. We cannot be calling this. So we saw a clip from our colleague, our brother Kaluma, and that's why my colleagues here, they are a bit trying to sugarcoat this issue. We saw 2 weeks ago, Honorable Kagusha says that those who are not in terms with them, they'll pick them from under bed and pick them out. What Kaluma said, he's my colleague. He should be arrested. To be honest. If the government is serious enough, they should have known that a recipe of violence was being planted even before the rally by the utterances of Honorable Kaluma. So the thing is this, my brother. As Kenyans, we need to understand to be tolerant of each other on opinion, speech, which is guaranteed in the Constitution.
All right.
And to know that we don't have any other country to go to. So what happened in Homa Bay is a total failure of the security docket.
And now that they've failed, as a member of parliament, what powers can you exercise at the 13th parliament to ensure that these instances don't play out time and time again? Because we've had assurances from the powers that be, yet some of the opposition's meetings seem to be disrupted by violence.
My brother, the truth of the matter is that if Ruto had not captured parliament today, tomorrow we should have an impeachment motion in the floor of the House to impeach Kipchumba Murkomen. A police officer is dead. A woman is dead. You had all the opportunity to put your energy to protect those two lives.
Okay.
So if parliament is not captured by the state, from the head of the state, William Ruto, tomorrow, I can assure you, members will be walking into parliament calling for impeachment of Kipchumba Murkomen. You have seen civil society guys who have tried to do something this afternoon.
Yes, we saw them.
Vigilance House, calling for the resignation of the IG because of police brutality and whatever. What has happened? The man, how they have been handled, it is unbelievable. So the thing is this. If the security apparatus want Kenyans to believe on them, I would wish to see in the morning Kaluma arrested. The clip is there. We don't want the investigation. The last time Murkomen told us the IG is reviewing the video clips of SEK Nairobi. I want to ask you, since that statement where the IG is reviewing, and have you heard anything? No single arrest, no single prosecution. There is no communication. My brother...
There was communication. There were a couple of arrests. Later on, they were released, but we didn't see the financiers actually get to the dock.
My brother Murkomen.
Briefly, yes.
Stop press conferences. Secure the country. As simple as that.
Mwenje, as you come in, it's unfortunate that youth are fighting amongst themselves for political posturing, and that's not the way to go. It takes me back to, school, Maslow's hierarchy of needs theory, that, they're being kept at the bottom of the pyramid in order to ensure that these handouts, when you're called to perhaps instigate violence, that it actually matters and you'll turn out, since you're economically sidelined, and that 1,000 shilling is a low-hanging fruit. Let's speak to this culture of political violence. How do we find the solution without blame games here?
Thanks, Jesse. One of the things that you've just raised, our youth in this country, because of lack of opportunities, they're susceptible then. It means politicians can use the youth. And until we sort out that issue, where we empower the youth and we get them out there working, earning a living, that they can shy off and walk away from these kind of situations. Unfortunately, I believe they're left to the devices that the politicians will come up with. But more importantly, what I wanted to say is that we've destroyed the moral fiber of this country. That, as we can see, 1 year to the election, actually there's a countdown on the screen there, 357 days to the election. That's how long we have. And let's accept it, that we've all started campaigns, whether it's early campaigns or everybody's on the roof of their cars, we're all campaigning. That this is the direction we're going to take for the next 350 days plus is so unfortunate. And we've completely forgotten where we came from in 2007. I thought at that point was at the precipice. And at the precipice, you change. You learn from those mistakes. It seems we haven't learned. It's what we say, like from history, you learn nothing from history. It seems we're not learning from those mistakes. Now, what has happened in Homa Bay, what happened in Nakuru, the security agencies cannot be excused on this issue, because you have two different sets of campaigns ongoing, and they inform the authorities that we are coming there. And I'll tell you that we were in Parliament 2 weeks ago, and we interact. We talk to each other. So Babu is there, Carol. They're telling us we're going to Homa Bay, but we know there's going to be a problem. So they decide we're going to come up with a tactic where we'll put it out there, inform the public, and you saw even PS Omolo himself comes out and responds to this issue. Now, the fact that there was an attack in Nakuru, that there was an attack in Homa Bay, these guys haven't spoken about it before, shows you that the security system that we have in Kenya has failed. You've asked my 3 colleagues, who needs to take responsibility? I want to tell you who needs to take responsibility. You start with CS Murkomen, and we are naming him here. He must be held to account. And I'll tell you why.
Isn't the police independent?
No.
Exactly.
Even if the police are independent, the CS has been given that political responsibility to be in charge of the police. He's the one who's in charge. 2 weeks ago, actually on Thursday, not the last Thursday, but the Thursday before that, I challenged Kimani Ichung'wah and told him, you're not bringing these cabinet secretaries to the floor of the House. Murkomen has not been to the floor of the House in God knows how long. So what do you think he's going to do? Nobody's holding him to account. He just stands out there, holds a presser, decides to say what he wants to say, targets Gachagua because that's his modus operandi, that he just runs and that's what he wants to talk to, and forgets completely what he needs to do. I'll tell you why he's incompetent. We had Adani at the time that Adani wanted to get involved in this country to do with the airport and Ketraco. Kenyans complained about the whole airport deal while CS Murkomen was the CS Transport. The energy issue didn't come up. It wasn't such an issue with the country because Chichi had managed to deal with it, but Murkomen couldn't. It tells you that he is incompetent as a CS. He failed in transport. He had to be removed by the president from there, given a chance to walk around in sport, and then given the most difficult docket, which needs somebody who is committed to handle that issue. Right now, the Kenya Human Rights Commission is going around trying to sit down and compensate victims who died during Gen Z and all that. So that's where we are. We've set out 2 billion, this is the money we're compensating. So on one side, the government is putting money to compensate victims, yeah? And on the other side, 2 people are being killed in Homa Bay. I mean, what are we doing here? What nonsense is this? So to me, we've allowed this country to just go to the dogs. And unfortunately, we cannot deny, 2 weeks in Homa Bay, 5 cars burnt and all that. Let me tell you, there's no way such a thing will happen without the security agencies knowing about it. So since we can't go after the various police officers down there, we have to go after the one person who needs to be held responsible. The one person who we can drag to the floor. Remember, we can't bring the OCPD in Homa Bay and all those other people. We can't bring them there.
Okay.
We can't bring them.
Okay.
Now, let me just add one thing.
Yeah.
So that I tell you when our government is failing. And this goes to the president himself. Sometime between the years 2013 and 2017, politicians got out of hand. What we've seen, what Kaluma is, I can only be translated to what he said.
Yeah.
Kagushia, we had him the other day, he went to court. If you remember between 2013 and 2017, there was a Pangani 6. Do you remember that?
Yes.
They were from both sides of government. Have you ever seen a UDA person arrested in this country? Even one, for comments that they've made. Now we have all these people who are speaking so recklessly. Anybody in the opposition speaks, if I speak recklessly, I have some Subarus waiting for me out here. Somebody else speaks the way they want, and they just go home.
Selective justice or what?
It's selective justice, and this allows, what happens is that you have people who are on government who will speak recklessly, as you've had, as I'm being informed based on the translation that I've had from the Honorable Kaluma. He speaks that way. What do you expect us to say tomorrow? Because somebody has to respond to it. And if you don't deal with it, it's what Uhuru dealt with the Pangani 6. Decided, no, I'm going to get all these guys arrested, and the security agencies were dealing with them. Right now, all you do is you just hammer one side, and if we don't deal with this thing, I would want to tell the president, you're going to lose this country. If this is how you're going to deal with it. First of all, you need to get rid of Murkomen. I mean, send him back to sports or something else. You need somebody serious who is in charge of this ministry. And very soon, of course, we want to charge the majority leader. He needs to allow Parliament to summon Murkomen because he is the one who's responsible for the calendar, and he's not allowing us to bring Murkomen to the floor. That's why I'm telling you, you're asking us, how do we hold him responsible? We can, as a house, but he has to be brought to the floor. Our standing orders provide that it is for the majority leader to schedule when he can appear. He's refused to do that.
Interesting to hear.
First of all, you know what? My condolences to the families that have lost. We've lost a police officer. We've lost a civilian. All right. A mother. Okay. So my condolences to the family. We've got a lot of injured people, and I pray that they're all going to get well. True, the police needs accountability. Right? They need to do proper investigations. But to say that bring in the police force from everywhere, I mean, as we're heading to the elections, you can't move the police force from all the counties. They have to be in their respective counties. I honestly believe...
But perhaps he was hinting at heightened deployment.
But let me tell you, why should it be heightened? Why should we even have that tension? You're going there to do a rally. Why do you incite people before? Why do you go with such disrespect? So for me, I want to say something. That for me, the fact that there were no police deaths, all right? The fact that we're compensating, we're doing a compensation for all the people that have died, which is the first time in the history of this country, all right? I mean, you guys in the United Opposition, you've got Matiang'i. I mean, Murkomen is a saint and a good performer when it comes to comparison with Matiang'i. and what he did in 2017.
But two wrongs don't make a right.
No, but the thing is, I want to say, don't go and criticize Murkomen because and demean him, right? He is there, he's in that office, and for me, I believe he is doing a good job.
Despite two lives having been
lost.
Let
me tell you, can I tell you something?
Yes,
I want to, when you have, as I said, you had a huge population in that area at that time. You have one policeman to 600 or so people. On that day, you probably had one policeman to 700 or 800 people. All right? The police can only do so much. We as citizens have got to be responsible. We as politicians have got to be responsible. It's collective action. And that's where we are failing. All right? So for me, you might think that you got away with it. But I'm a Christian and I believe that God never sleeps. So he connects the dots and he knows who's responsible. So every single day, all right, we've got a police force. In a capital city, you're bound to have crime. If you go to New York, if you go to any capital city, you're bound to have crime. And yet you've got efficient police services. But you get people being killed every day. You get people being run over. You get murders happening every day. So for me, when you have that kind of population, who is supposed to take responsibility? The people who are calling for that event. All politicians, both sides, government, opposition, let us be responsible. As you said rightfully, we have only one country, Kenya. And we're heading to an election. We do not want a repeat of 2007. We do not want to have to compensate deaths. We want to have political rallies that work. And our youth do not be misused. All right? Okay. At the end of the day, I honestly believe that Murkomen is doing an amazing job. P.S. Raymond Omolo is doing an amazing job. And, I think compared to what we've had in the past, in 2017, we lost 99 people. All right? I sympathize with all the people that we lost during the Gen Zs, but I commend President Ruto and Baba for saying, you know what, let's have reparation. Okay? Something good is happening in this country. Okay. Let's look at the gains that are happening in this country. Let's take responsibility as politicians. All of us. We have a moral responsibility to protect our citizens. And we are the ones that incite, or we are the ones that cause our people to rise against each other.
I was expecting Esther to condemn Kaluma, but he can't condemn Kaluma.
I don't speak Jaluo, and
let me just repeat what he said.
What did he say?
If anyone speaks of one term,
yes,
deal with them.
Yes.
And he actually went ahead and mentioned some of these hotels operating in Homa Bay. If you happen to house those people, we'll come and deal with them, and we might deal with you.
Now,
sorry to repeat the words.
That's what I call irresponsible politics.
So action should be taken.
Action should be taken.
Why hasn't
I will not defend somebody who does something that is wrong.
Okay.
If he said that, let NCIC do its job.
Okay.
Okay.
Fair enough. Ruto, we've heard of issues of selective justice, and perhaps they're hinting at prevention is better than cure. The police officers knew of intel. Linda Mwananchi had spoken of this meeting of ours might be disrupted by certain elements, yet it was still disrupted. Speak.
Thank you. I've listened quietly to my colleagues in this debate, and I chose to be silent and patient to listen. But true to say it, even to Kenyans, we are still far away from sorting out this problem. If we become an opportunistic to use an occasion like this to just propel our agenda, our political agenda, then we are far from the truth. As you said, two wrongs cannot make a right. By now, all of us, first of all, we should be together agreeing that this is our country. And we should not tolerate such behavior by all means, whether you are in opposition, whether you are in government.
True.
I mean, it is not right. If I disagree with somebody, you go and hit on that person. It is not even right. Even my good friend Kaluma said that if this person comes and is of this opinion, I would wish to know he's a lawyer. You say sometimes this legal jargon is a bit difficult. I wish to know the definition of the word deal in this context to understand very well. But nonetheless to say, from the president to anyone, this is one country we have. And I'm happy with our president because he has tried as much as possible, though he's all alone as human being, despite the variance in political persuasion and agendas and views that he runs a country and the people who are opposing him are taking. He has tried as much as possible to use his place to balance and to bring about equity That's one element of sorting out this, because what had been a problem for quite a long time was discrepancy on how we utilize the national resource. Okay. He has tried as much as possible to spread the national resources so that development can be felt in all aspects of the country. That is one aspect, and it's a commitment from him. It shows that we have a president who means well about the country as a symbol of national unity, using that office. But the problem of this democracy we gave ourselves through our new constitution that we want to abuse now, you know very well that I want to go and undertake my rally with huge people. Like, I know people like who are there, goes even beyond 5,000 or almost 10,000. However, you want us to mob police officers from all aspects to this one rally. Every weekend we have rallies. So tell me now whether it is practical to mobilize police everywhere to follow these politicians. And remember, it's not now this regime are undertaking theirs. This side of the divide is undertaking their own rallies, as somebody has said, and you're already inciting us to go to politics. You're already showing us number of days to election. So you're sending signals to people to prepare for campaigns have started. This is an issue that we have to say, and I want to restrict myself to this, that for once, let's be serious leaders in Kenya. Put in the opposition. When you are planning your own meeting, I've seen a form that you are applying. You always say that I want to undertake this meeting here. And you always even commit yourself that I will be responsible in the event of anything. Yeah. Why don't you come to a place, stand, and call out your agenda on the people? Why I'm here is this, because probably, I don't know whether Leader Mwananchi are pushing for a presidential candidate. I don't know, they're just pushing the issue of one term. And if you're pushing for one term, why can't you take your microphone and say, why I'm standing for one term? It's because the president and this regime has failed on this and this and this. And this is what I intend to come and do in the opposite of this. You finish your meeting, you've sent the message to the people. Leave the people to go and make judgment. All right. Must you use that microphone and begin to insult people? And remember, Kenyan politics are unique. It's a question of influence and supporters. And you know the way some supporters are fanatic supporters. You know we've come, we are not new in Kenya. And I want to say, Baba, rest in peace. Baba was loved across. Even if Baba would not say anything, he had love and following. So tell me today, if you were standing when Baba was still alive and begin to attack Baba, what do you expect of the masses around? Now, we have William Ruto. He has done development. You stand and attack on his character, assassinate him when people are there. Why can't you attack on the failures of his regime and tell Kenyans and persuade Kenyans to support you? Likewise with the other one. Like now, my good friend, I've seen leaders, even like the former deputy president, taking microphone and speaking, attacking on individuals and communities. What message is that? So as much as we want to take accountability only to the government side, where is the accountability of the other politicians? Indeed. Where is the accountability of the other leaders? I mean, do you at times judge your words? Do you listen to yourself? Do you go back and evaluate and say, this is how I said, how has it gone? The tremors of that, how has it been received? I saw in Nakuru, over the weekend, one member of parliament, and it's on record, and I don't want to hide that one. Is it called?
Alama.
Yes.
Arama.
Arama. He saw Peter, that somebody came in and attacked on me, and he was innocent. He was not informed that the meeting will come to his constituency, and he was attacked. So he's so much agitating as to why he's being attacked innocently. Even, I have heard him say, okay, if you need me, then I was like, okay, so if he needs you then, if he tries you, what will you do? Are you waging those words? So this thing is within all of us here. It's a question of interest. It's a question of political interest, not about the people. And that's why we need to speak to the people who are pushing on this one. Let us deal with the individuals. And I also want to ask the Kenyans, it is the right time for us, it is high time for us to be judgmental. Okay. Any leader who want to ram, who want to come in the name of division, who want to come in the name of dividing people, who want to come in the name of insulting people, that is not a leader that will carry us in the best place. And there's something we need to speak about it. Otherwise, you say Kipchumba Murkomen, okay, after beating Kipchumba Murkomen, will this change rallies? Will this change the language of the people? After impeaching IG, because that's what we are saying, will this change the character of the people? Let's speak to the character more, because this is leaders. And Kipchumba is a political leader, but he has a policy responsibility. The command is sitting with another person. How will you match the two? By the time that police officer was killed, it means police officers were there in the meeting.
Yes.
And they were trying their best.
Overpowered, perhaps.
And they were overpowered and he was attacked. So it doesn't mean that there were absence of police officers. Police officers were there, but people have gone to a level of disrespecting even the men in uniform. So how do you talk of these people who have disrespected? Other countries, I saw another country where police, when they come in uniform, people restrain when they see. But Kenyans are no longer restraining because of the hate, because of the incitement that has been pushed by these politicians. So even as we have this discussion in this platform, let us speak as it is and be candid to it and say where it is wrong, before we even attack people for political reasons. Yes.
Interesting. So at the end of the day, do you agree with the calls that perhaps the security ministry needs an overhaul, or that is you're dealing with the symptoms, not the disease?
Now, that's what I've said. When that police officer was killed, but the police officer, and it's unfortunate, and I'm sorry to the family of the deceased police officer. He was killed at the side of the scene. I mean, at the scene of the fracas. That tells you, government had done what they could do. They had done what they could do to ensure that security is there. But if politicians have raised the level of agitation between themselves to that level where even police officers are overpowered, by the time even you would call for reinforcement, how many hours will it take from Kisumu? How many hours will it take from Kisii?
All right, and perhaps to be the devil's advocate, even as they come in, if the government had done enough, then perhaps we will see the financiers and the figures behind those
and that's what I want to agree today.
Men,
I'm looking forward tomorrow. If what my good friend Kaluma said, he should be called upon to explain.
Okay.
I'm looking upon the investigation to come and tell us who sat down and planned and designed this particular occurrence. Was it occurred in itself, or was it designed and planned?
And when he says Esike Cathedral right here in Nairobi was attacked, they gave assurances. No action has been taken. Wetima Church has been attacked.
We've seen some investigations calls for, the way the police officers are doing, some of investigation are not direct. They require a lot of connection because there could be the people who came and executed. But since you are looking at the financial, sometimes it takes time to draw the line until you connect. So what we are saying is that we give time, but even before we get to election, let us see the outcome of this. Whatever it has been promised to Kenyans, let Kenyans know.
My brother, let me say this.
Please do.
With all due respect.
Yeah.
I think we carry a very big responsibility as Parliament. And I just want to remind Kenyans, when Kenya was under attack by terrorism, that is Al-Shabaab and whatever, we discussed informally in Parliament. And that time, the Minister for Internal Security was Governor Olelengu. And members of Parliament, under the tone, felt that Olelengu was not doing the right thing to protect the country. And I remember one evening, members of Parliament, when Sakaja was, we are with Sakaja Duale in the House, members of Parliament proposed General Kaiseri the late to be nominated to the Minister for Interior. General Kaiseri was a member of ODM with Esther Passaris, and he was our member. And it came to us on a surprise. How can we release General Kaiseri to the government which we had already gotten? And Baba came out very clearly and he said to us, I remember we went for a retreat at Cooperative College. And Baba said, if the President Uhuru Kenyatta has seen that the country will be secure with General Kaiseri, we release him as ODM and as code to stabilize the country. When we are calling for Murkomen to be released, we are coming from an history of understanding. If Murkomen was competent enough, what happened in Homa Bay should not have happened.
Simple.
It's as simple as that.
Okay. It's not that simple.
The bottom line lies with him to make sure that he secures the country. And we cannot run out. And I want him, if we want to get the credibility of us as Kenyans, by morning Kaluma should be arrested.
Just let me come in. You've mentioned the instances where insecurity has happened, Tima, Homa Bay. I mean, they're endless.
Countless, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And there are even other smaller ones that have occurred. The tragedy of it, and why I'm calling Murkomen I'm holding him to account, is that these people, despite seeing them on video, knowing their names, they're not being charged. They're not being taken to court. I have a case. In fact, this is very serious, you know. A colleague member of parliament of ours from Nairobi, Karauri, was in my constituency the other day. He gets attacked. The people who attacked him are known. Exactly. He is somebody who's in broad-based, by the way, so I'm not here to hold I'm not holding his brief. But the fact that it happened in my constituency, and it's known, so I've left it. So I'm like, oh, this is a very friendly fire happening on that side. Let me leave it. The guy is taken to court and he's not being charged because somebody somewhere is saying, no, this person should not be touched. That's what's replicating all over. So I'm not calling Murkomen incompetent just out of no reason. We can place the facts. It's what I want him to be brought to the House so that we put names and details to the floor. We table them on the floor and say, here is this case, here is this case, here is this case. So once you've allowed those cases, people to get away with it, people are confident. They think they can do anything that they know. As long as I'm singing two-term and this and that, I'm singing anything that I'm untouchable. That's the problem. And that is Murkomen who's created that problem. Now, what people need to understand, because it seems campaigns is what has brought all this. Early campaigns have set in. It's unfortunate, that's how it is. But one of the things that people must understand that this time, voters are very different. And we saw with how it happened on Kalau. You could have all the machinery and everything, but people will wake up and decide, this is where we are voting, and that's how it's going to go. That is going to be replicated across the country. So this whole thing of trying to stop people, because what happened in Homa Bay was that somebody was saying, no, you cannot come here. This is a county that belongs to a certain side of government. We will not allow you to walk here. We will not allow you to do that. I mean, let's be honest, and I'm glad because three of us here were all we're still in Azimio as far as based on the rules and everything, but things might have changed. But one of the things that would make Baba turn in his grave is to imagine that somebody would go to Homa Bay to campaign and it leads in death. People who were once in the same camp. It's unheard of, and it cannot be allowed. The thing is, with the president, is that 2024 there were lessons to be learned in this country. With what happened with the Gen Z, because at time the whole country learned that we must start listening to the people. I thought these lessons were learned even in 2025. I even saw at times the president would make fun of the name Kasongo. In Nairobi, moved around, there was the name El Chapo.
When you were with us, huh?
All those things. No, but we thought at that time, the guy knew he had learned these mistakes, but it seems he never learned out of it. We are all leaders here. We go through criticism, and that criticism will always be there, even to the presidency, to the president himself. We are a democratic country that allows there's a majority that have their way and a minority that will always have their say. We must allow that. That is what is being starved out there. And what happens, and sorry, I'm going to use some very strong words, you know. I think it might be Thomas Jefferson, I need to remember who. You know, the tree of liberty, must be watered from time to time by the blood of patriots and tyrants. That's what he said back in 1780-something. The liberty that is in this country, you know, people have to keep fighting to ensure. We don't need to spill blood, but we have to fight. You can't allow government to just have whatever it wants. And that's why our constitution provides for both sides. But it seems somebody wants to starve that. You want to stop us from having that democratic right that is guaranteed by our constitution, that we have a majority there, that we have a president there. But you have people who can go out there and oppose and say no to this, no to that, no to this. Now, when you starve all this, then it leads to this form of violence. And it's unfortunate that while the people feel they don't need to shout, the people know that the time is coming, there'll be a ballot box, that's what's going to happen. Somebody somewhere is so determined to stop people from going out there, and that is what is leading to this culture of goonism in our country, leading to this form of where we feel that some of the security agencies, and let me tell you, the police who are always in uniform are always acting in the best interest of the public. You'll always see it. They're in uniform, they're trying to control even the traffic and how the public is moving. But you always have some elements out there that are determined to ensure that this opposition is unable to speak. And we must learn from our history. That if you keep doing this, then you lead to loss of lives, as what is happening. And more importantly, we're going to lose this country. We go to 2007 where we were able to save this country, brought it back. Then Raila was there and Kibaki, they were able to sit back. We may not have a second chance if we could continue down this path.
And still with you, as we continue with this discussion, can this verbal attacks by the politicians, opposition government actually stop? Because they seem to hint that you should go to a political rally with good intentions to sell your idea, not actually as a way of provoking violence. And we've had this come up time and time again.
I want to say I've heard that script.
Yes.
And it's a script of scaring people. When you say that when I come to your place, I need to come with good intention. And I wake up and I want to come with good intention. And I find you have blocked the roads. It too don't have good intention to hear my views. So the bottom line here starts with whoever planned blockage of roads. And you see, the good part of it is that what Linda Mwananchi did, exposed the other side of Homa Bay, which we didn't know, of dusty roads, no roads. It is terrible. Actually, it has become a mockery of the leadership which is in place. If the leaders who planned that had allowed the Linda Mwananchi to go through the tarmac, who will know that there is that total bad road? God works in a very funny way.
It's Karoli Omondi's
And the bottom line, Esther Passaris, we have stayed with you with Baba. And you have fought for the good right. I think it's the high time people, when they come close to power, I don't know what happens. I don't know, because I can't understand that today Esther Passaris is not condemning.
So let him pray that he never gets close to power, so he doesn't become as bad as I am.
And the good part of it is that I believe once we
confirm the Kenyans, Matungulu is tarmacked everywhere, including access roads.
Actually, as we speak, my roads,
dusty roads,
there are dusty roads, but we work on them. And at the same time, the thing is that if a politician is not on my side and is coming to Matungulu, you will not see me. You will not hear me utter the words Kaluma uttered. You will not find the roads blocked. You will walk in there, say your thing, leave. The issue is this. When people plan for others, God knows how to give out the answer. The answer on Sunday came out very clearly. The government of the day and the leadership in Homa Bay have failed the people of Homa Bay. The roads are dusty, the roads are impassable, the people are suffering.
So if the road to Tsekuru was dusty...
Jesse, wait. They are attacking
I want to respond to something.
Let's give him a chance, then we'll respond.
When somebody comes to campaign, that's what you're saying, that somebody comes to campaign, says what they need to say and all that.
Yes.
Look, it's known that the executive, the government headed by the president, is the one who has the power to go and even probably do all these things. But development, no matter how much development you bring, you stand there and say, oh, I'm going to do this road, I'm going to do this school, I'm going to do this. The one thing that the people of Kenya treasure is their liberty, their freedom. You cannot exchange that for 10,000 kilometers worth of time.
That is not in absence of development.
What somebody in this government, and we must challenge the president, is that he's probably thought that you can exchange this development, I'll do some houses, I'll do some schools, I'll do what, in exchange for liberty, that you can't think, you can't say what you want to say. It doesn't matter. That's not what people fought for in this country. You cannot exchange that.
All right.
So that liberty, that freedom and expression, that is what people are fighting for. It is what you're seeing. The opposition is out there saying in one term, because it's the one thing that they feel, this is what you're taking away from us. Forget these other issues. If we deal with this one issue, which is guaranteed, which is what Uhuru had and even Kibaki and they'd allowed, then that would mean, that's when you'd see Raila would come campaigning against Uhuru as it was before, and Kibaki, and even the last election, because you are campaigning on issues. Because the question of liberty was never there. Now that's the issue. The issue is now just that freedom. It's let my people go. That's where we are right now.
All right.
We have a lot of liberty, and that's why the Linda Mwananchi had their rally. They were welcomed. Things went a bit haywire. You didn't expect the police to go start picking up the stones. Let's be responsible as politicians. Now, I want to talk about my chairperson, the governor of Homa Bay. Ranked best performing, 2023, 70%. 2024, 61%. 2026, 66%, and the only reason is because she's also got the whole ODM party and the transitions that we've had to do. Now, when it comes to roads and transport, okay, 272 projects across 40 wards.
What's your source?
My source is the internet or even the governor's office, okay? All right? Access roads, bridges, culverts, drainage, connecting communities, schools, hospitals. I mean, she can't be ranked the best without performance, okay? So for me, our governor has done a lot. That particular road, you can even see in the picture, you know, sometimes, God works in miracles. There was an earth mover right there. So right behind him with his dustiness, a lot of, by the way, you can do that, huh? You can strip my clothes and put me something else within seconds on the internet.
But
so they put him some dusty clothes, they put him a dusty face, all through AI. Kenyans are, no, that dust was created by AI, ChatGTP. Can I tell you why? Kenyans are using the number one on AI. Kenyans are number one on AI. All right? ChatGTP, Kenyans are ranked number one.
But we aired the proceedings live.
That was Kipindi, Bana. That was the Kipindi drama AI generated.
Not really.
That dust, let me tell you, who gets that kind of dust? Come on. Jesse, you're educated. Jesse, you have intelligence. That was doctored to prove what? To undermine the governor?
Jesse,
only because she runs the party effectively and made sure that a non-performing SG had to leave. Come on, man, get over it. Deal with your politics, respect the presidency. If not Ruto, respect the president, respect the work that he's doing.
Probably.
All right?
Let's give Julius some time.
Before you give me, so that we cannot lie to Kenyans.
What are you like?
The coverage for Linda Mwananchi from morning to evening was covered live by Citizen,
I think
by you people.
He has dual this
that
point.
is standard, by
That's
digital,
yes.
Kenya digital
point,
news.
Okay.
Those who were at home followed that dust
I think,
the whole afternoon.
All right.
I think 65. It's a good now exposure that not all Kenyans have attained independence in terms of development. And that's why people like Agina Mwenje are not speaking about development, because they saw this one. They have had all the occasions from independence all throughout to 2013 of development skewed to their corner.
I was born in 95.
You will have your time. You will have your time. So the other part of the country, if you go to Northeastern, the Modagashe Road, are celebrating this development for the first time. It's like, it is the independence for them.
Yeah.
When you speak about housing, when you speak about transport sector, when you speak about this road from Mau Summit, from Rironi all the way to Mau Summit, for us that we sleep on the road, especially during peak seasons, it is something worth celebration. And I don't understand, where is the difference between liberty and development? Because why Kenyans were fighting for independence from the colonial person was to attain independence and run the country and develop itself. Why we had the new constitution was because the sessional paper of 1965 asked you the country, and therefore chapter 10 of the constitution, article 10, speaks about equity. Why we had this constitution of article 43 that speaks about chapter on rights, chapter 4 of the constitution, speaking about rights. All of it culminates in the aspect of spread of development across the country and facilitate Kenyans an equal opportunity to survive and ensure that the basic needs are provided. So when I hear my friend saying that the president stands and speaks about development, that's not Kenyans. That is not what Kenyans are asking for, but rather they're asking for liberty. The question is this: are you aware? And let me not speak about our neighbors that even during election they shut down their internet, that you cannot follow what's happening. For Kenya, you can say anything. You can even accuse the president. You can even draw the president in a casket, and nothing happens to you. I mean, what kind of other liberty, other than the liberty of ensuring that you have yourself, you are pushing to be in control of that power? That you feel that if you are not in the decision-making pattern in that time, it's not liberty.
And we've had the opposition mention that development, yet you're killing children.
Please, it's unfortunate thing. This is something that the government of today has on and said it. I've gone sorry. I don't know how we are going back to it. I've even initiated an aspect of truth and justice, revelation and compensation where possible. It means that they have owned that there was a problem. So when somebody has owned that problem and said, let us talk about this one, why should you be picking on that? Why haven't we speaking about Matiang'i time, the deaths, the people who were killed and dumped in Yala? I mean, for God's sake, there are many things which have been happening, but because Kenyan, we are happy and we appreciate that we are people we can forgive and move forward. Let's speak about where we are going.
Okay.
I had someone say that he's pushing for presidential and saying, I don't want military things, I don't want this housing, and it's a provision of Article 43. Now, I've had my good friend saying that we have seen Homa Bay, there is dust. I agree there is dust. But I want to ask him, even in Ukambani, even the road to Seguru, for him, until recently, when William came in, that is helping them. So the aspect of roads are not being governed. We have only done 28,000 kilometers of our road connection in Tambak. We still have over 300,000 roads that, if resources would allow in future, we have to connect. So it is something that is progressive. For the first time, Homa Bay are experiencing tarmac roads in Rusinga Islands. It is an island that has been tarmac. Right. Even the city of, even the township of Homa Bay has experienced a lot of opportunities due to development. So what we are saying is this: it is good we separate issues which are not right. As I've said, issues to do with communism is criminal in nature, and what is crime is crime. But let us now change and speak about politics. If you have any reason that you want to remove the person in power, tell Kenyans, this is what I want to do, that this one is not doing. But as much as this one is working hard, is doing is on his time, serving well Kenyans and spreading resources, little hand resources. I'm an accountant, and you know, economic and resources, I mean, we always say resources scarce. We know the challenges we've come through, but he's managing all round to ensure that he runs the country. Okay. If you have any other issues to speak about it, please, let's stop attacking and justifying what was happening. It is not the first time. We've seen Mandamandos. How many people died in Mandamandos? And we've seen police officers coming in. I mean, why can we learn from Mandamandos that has lost many lives? We are still pushing on the same thing. Why?
Perhaps because
it is something that I'm saying. Yeah. Please, let's not be seen to be sugarcoating a problem. The problem is here, and it's a responsibility for all. Even for me, when I'm going for my meetings in my constituency, I have people who are opposing me. But anytime you follow my speech, I will never take my microphone and character attack those who are opposing me. I only speak of development that I've done. I tell people what I promised when I was campaigning. I show them what I've done, and I keep inspiring hope that tomorrow we are going to do better than this. And I end my meeting. And if you go that direction, like the president is doing, he takes to the roof and speaks about development. I mean, that is what we are going to do.
So tell me this, Bwana Ruto, at the end of the day, President William Ruto has recently labeled former President Uhuru Kenyatta as a sponsor of the opposition. Is he speaking about policy ideas, or is he character assassinating the former head of state?
That one is politics of sponsorship. And he has information, yes. Of course, I mean, that's not unique. Okay. Uhuru has not rested. He has appeared several times on political rallies. What does that mean? We never saw Kibaki did that. I never saw, of course, I never saw Kenyatta, because by the time Kenyatta was dying, I was young. But I saw Moi retiring, and he went home.
So that's okay.
It's okay to retiring, and he went home. But I see Uhuru coming back. What did he left? What else did he forgot? He had 10 years to run. What interest does he have as a person or as a family? I don't know.
Let's hear from Wenje. He happens to be a member of the Jubilee Party.
You know, why? It pains. Anyway, I don't mind when these other guys, because Uhuru has become the scapegoat. We can't do this, it's Uhuru. We can't do that, it's Uhuru.
So he's not financing the opposition.
ODM is having some issues, but we are paying Uhuru.
Your salaries cannot do those.
One of the things that pains me the most at times, at times I listen even to my brothers and sisters in ODM, and I hear them speaking about Uhuru, and I'm like, Uhuru sacrificed everything to try and get Raila to the presidency, including resources. So let us stop using this scapegoat of Uhuru. Uhuru is a retired president. He's not coming back. Even the Retirement Benefits Act provides that one of the roles that the president Uhuru has is advising the current president. And advising him can be criticizing him also, telling him that you're going wrong and here and this and that. So all he's doing, I don't think you've seen Uhuru in a rally. I don't think you've seen him on top of a car. You're not going to see him doing that. But of course, he's not going to walk away and just keep quiet. And more importantly, let us remember that even President Moi, when Kibaki took over, and you remember there was a bit of some terrorism that was going on in this country, Moi came out and called out Kibaki and told him, you're failing on this insecurity issue. When it came to the 2007 elections, Moi came out, and a lot before he had supported Uhuru, came out to support even, I think, Kibaki at that time. So it's not the first time we are seeing a retired president coming out. And that is why we even pay them to come out. We pay them about, 80%, I think, of what they had in office. Why are we doing that? So that they have a role. We give them an office, which this government has refused to provide for Uhuru anyway. So Uhuru is operating from his home somewhere in Katundu. But it's okay, he'll be fine, he'll operate from there. But you can't expect, you can't wish him away, because I think that's what these guys are trying to do. But more importantly, what I just wanted to say something, Ruto,
you need to look at the chapter on pensions.
Let's say, the issue of development, and what people deserve, they're trying to get all these things. Some are provided in the Constitution, some are not. But our Constitution is very strict on the rights that it gives us, the right to assemble, the right to assemble political parties, and all these things. You cannot tell me, and if we're going to quantify it, let us do it right here. Are you telling me that those 2 lives we lost in Homa Bay are worth losing to get that road in Homa Bay? Is that what we are saying here? Because we can't substitute one for the other. It doesn't matter. This Constitution begins by giving this country, giving us the freedoms that we feel are being curtailed. That is the issue. That is what people are fighting against. So if you're going to go build that road, then the likes of Kaluma speak the way they want to speak and everything. But as long as somebody is dying out there trying to exercise their democratic right, then all these other things become overshadowed. And you and I all know that, because in 2024, that was the lesson, and it shouldn't just be the lesson for the president or for the government. 2024, the Gen Z lesson was for all of us. When they came to parliament, despite us even having voted no, I think actually me and you were in the no team for the finance, but because the public was upset, it didn't consider even the fact that the Azimio team had this thing. That is what we need to tell our counterparts who are in government, that you think that building this road by saying, oh, a certain region in central, they got these things, and Ruto is saying, hey, Mwenje doesn't know since independence. I was born in 85, so I don't know what happened during independence. So let's talk about what's there today. Okay. But more importantly, that freedom, that is what, and I thought the president learned that lesson in 2024, that in 2025, when he decided to dissolve that government, he had learned his lesson and was trying to know that you have to be people-centered. And that's where Murkomen is taking us back. That's why you're seeing people going and chaining themselves at Jogo House. And these things will continue. They will continue. As long as you keep trying to oppress them, people will naturally fight back. And it doesn't matter all these other things you tell them. As long as you take away these freedoms and rights that have been guaranteed under the Constitution, then it doesn't matter.
Point is across. Muli, as you come in and perhaps reflect on what has been said, there's an ongoing political battle to inherit the late Raila Odinga's political turf. I'd like your review of that push and pull, whether it's Linda Mwananchi on one side, because we equally had Babu Owino speak about how Kalonzo Musyoka supported Raila Odinga time and time again, and perhaps is best suited to inherit this particular political turf.
The good part of it is that the inheritance of Baba's political turf has already taken off. 70% of ODM is with Sifuna. 30% is with Esther Passaris and the team who have been left there.
I didn't know you do polls.
The polls are very clear. Basically what is happening in the country is that like-minded people are coming back together to reclaim their land, to reclaim their country, to reclaim their liberty, to reclaim the freedom which we have been given by Constitution 2010. And I want to say the government of the day is feeling oppressed because of these challenges. And that's why you'll find that they wake up and you see guys in choppers going to different places, and they are placing the attack on Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That, they have a sponsor, the opposition have a sponsor. Sponsorship is good.
So he's sponsoring, yeah?
No, I'm saying sponsorship is good. But if they want to use that card of sponsorship, I'll tell them they are in the wrong direction.
Okay.
Kenyans are very clear. Kenyans, they want to see SHA working. Kenyans, they want to see accountability in the government office. Kenyans, they don't want to see the opulence being shown today. People flying using choppers to go and do women empowerment. And Esther Pasari is here. And at the end of the day, those
when
women...
was I on a chopper?
When those women, guys get there, they speak to them the way they want. At the end of the day, those women get 200 shillings. Kenyans want to see a working education sector. And call a spade a spade. The other day, I was in another station, and I said, briefly, I applaud the president when he walked up to Kenyans and admitted that the program they introduced for higher education has failed. And we are going to come up with a law to bring to parliament. We see how to fix it. That's how to deal with the issue here. But the problem I'm facing is that those who are in broad-based, they can't see the king when he's naked. They just want to tell him, boss, your clothes are still on. And the guy is completely tattered. Completely tattered. Even the standard 3 kid, even the young person can tell you we are in a one-term movement.
Okay, look, let me tell you something. I believe that, and with visible proof, that Kenya is blessed to have William Samoei Ruto as its president at such a time as this. First of all, he found a government that was in a bad state. Uhuru, even though Ruto was his deputy, did not perform well. Completely.
So
all right?
He
did not perform well. He was the guy at the helm. All right?
Yeah.
Let me give you a few of the pointers on Ruto's government. Economic stabilization, stable shilling, low inflation, stronger foreign exchange reserves. Okay? Debt management, Eurobond buybacks, which was Uhuru's big mess, reduced default risk. Kenya was amongst the countries that were supposed to default. We didn't. All right? Stronger fiscal discipline. Agriculture and food security, fertilizer subsidies, increased maize, sugar, dairy, tea production, lower unga prices. The price of unga has really come down. Universal healthcare. I'm glad you recognize that SHA is there. SHA's registration, expanded primary and specialized healthcare, payments of hospital claims. We just recently paid 4 billion shillings, or settling the old debts of NHIF. Affordable housing, 277 units. Dignified living for citizens, including your constituents. All right? Reported construction, jobs, urban regeneration, home ownership. All right? He kept his promise. He worked very hard to give us that dignity of housing. All right? Roads and infrastructure. Lake Victoria Port, SGR extension plans where Uhuru left it. Airport expansion, improved national connectivity.
All right.
Look at this road that we're having. No, I have got to finish this. Markets and MSMEs, economic stimulus markets, hustler fund, support for traders, entrepreneurs, informal businesses. Right now, Gikomba market, I mean, you wait until that market comes stands up. It's moving at record speed so that we can avoid all these fires that we're having. You know, he makes tough decisions. And for me, I think that is a president that we need at such a time as this. Even when he was trying to make Vision 2030 beyond, taking Kenya to 100 years, 2063, whether we're here or not, at the end of the day, he's setting the pace for this country. When it comes to education and skills, CBC transition, increased education financing, expansion of TVETs, including in your constituencies, practical employment skills, we're actually certifying people with their skills. You know, like if you're a plumber, you go and work in a housing project, you get certification. Workers' social protection, increased NSSF savings, support of older persons. We'll see those checks coming. You keep reading about it, but of course, those with eyes will see and those with ears will hear. Those with mouths will speak things that are not honest. National unity, broad-based government. He's looking for peace. Let me tell you, Uhuru learned nothing from Baba. Ruto learned a lot from Baba. Kalonzo worked with Baba. Can he understand that the country is bigger than all of us? You're united opposition. Let us look at this next year. How can we improve Kenya? Okay? You know, this whole idea of bickering with each other. If Kenya is bigger than us, then let us look at the projects that Ruto has done. Okay. Let me tell you, Kenyans, I want to talk to Kenyans. You know, you're in a hard place, right? It's a population mess. It's a management mess. Ruto, in 4 years, with all the things that he's had to deal with, has really become visionary, focused, hardworking. All right? Let me tell you, I don't know anyone who works hard. I used to think Baba worked hard. I found somebody who works even harder. All right? Maybe it's the age. But he is visionary. Okay. He is focused. He is doing wonders for this country. 100,000 teachers hired. Your students now, your parents are having less burden because they're teachers in the schools. You know, I mean, call a spade, right? But at the end of the day, when you look at Ruto and the work that he's doing, you cannot say he's doing nothing. The only agenda of the united opposition is Ruto must go. Tell us, what are you going to do better? I worry Kenyans. I mean, if we stop all these projects, because these guys have no agenda, you are going to suffer like never before. So please, look at the good that he's doing and give him the time to finish that work. So me, nasimama hapa, naketi hapa, ni 2 term.
Interesting.
And
Julius, as you come in, at the end of the day, there are successes by this government. At times, people might look at the glass half full, half empty. But even in the same spirit, as you were in that broad-based meeting in Naivasha, did you highlight that there's a problem in articulating the successes in this government? Is it due to differences at the macro and the micro level? Because the dollar has stabilized against the Kenya shilling, or the Kenya shilling has stabilized against the dollar. But at the Mwananchi level, they're thinking, how does that benefit me? Yet I'm barely struggling to buy this unga that's a little bit cheaper. It speaks to the realities of a Kenyan household. Is the problem articulating, what's the issue here, briefly?
Thank you. Well, I want to respond to your question. It's good listening to all of us. I heard the other day, I watched a clip of Kalonzo Musyoka being asked the question, should you be given presidency today upon swearing in? What is the first executive order you're going to do within 48 hours? He said, I will abolish her. The story ends there. You know what happened if you follow that. I've heard also them speaking about, we Kenyans want liberty, no development. Then now I'm wondering, then why do people vote? To do why? Why do they pay tax? What is the essence of paying taxes if they don't want services to be given to them, So I think we are getting wrong, even opposition, for this purpose. If that is the analogy they have, running all the country of one term without a set agenda, I think for Kenyans it's a sorry state, and I want to say William Ruto is 2 term, even ab initio, because there is no serious competitor. Yes. Now to your question, I think we have one huge issue here, the aspect of employment. Macroeconomics, of course I'm not an economist, but you understand macroeconomics is a question of trade, it's a question of the transfer of the capital to the country in terms of trade between Kenya and the other countries, in terms of course, looking at all other sectors, but aspect that is able to generate employment for the people. So we still have a gap on that. And that is why this regime has understood this problem. The first thing they did was to ask themselves, how are we going to make sure that the fact that we have managed the macro issues, the relationship between Kenya and international, that is why the issue of stability in terms of currency has come in, the issue of interest rates has come in by repaying the debts, by liquefying the Eurobond, which was becoming a challenge to Kenya, and it became a challenge to the other countries.
Right.
It sent the right signals to the international market. And the international market has responded positively. And that is why our interest rates now are below 14%. And that's why our exchange rate is stabilizing. And that's why we're able to sustain trade between Kenya. The issue of G2G, a sustained constant supply of fuel, those are macro discussions. Now we have the micro issues that are being addressed. And that is why the issue of affordable housing has played a critical role. You know, sometimes we look at affordable housing in the aspect of there is no space for kuku kupanda juu, but you fail to see that mama and that young man waking up in the morning, going majengo, and being paid at the end of the day, either weekly, either monthly, and look at stability it has caused to the family. We fail to see addressed on the issues of share. I've had some people castigating share, but it's unfortunate, it's either because they have never fallen to be victims or either of their family has fallen. But anyone who has gone through will tell you the success story. So this aspect of employment is where we are coming. And remember, Kenya, we are a trading economy. What do I mean by this? We import everything. We import food, we import edible oil, we import clothing, the way we look, we dress nicely. All of these were not made in Kenya. What does that mean? Our 58 or almost 60 million population is a trading function of another country. So we need now to reverse this. And it's not something of a day. It is something that President William came in and founded and is trying to reverse. That's why the issue of sugar industry is coming up. We are now reducing on the quantum of importation of sugar to the country. We are now able to sustain. Look at the issue of maize. Maize is a staple food. The issue of subsidy on production was an intervention to ensure we reduce on importing basic food. We still struggling with the edible oil, and already plans, interventions are ongoing now in the coastal area of supporting farmers to grow palm oil. No, slowly we are turning the slate. If Ruto given opportunity, we are going to industrialize. When our industry rises up, employment will rise, and that's where Kenyans will get jobs. That's where Kenyans will feel the macroeconomics in their pockets.
I think the point is across. I have to give 30 seconds each for closing remarks. So kindly hold it.
60, I'm the only woman.
So, to me,
briefly,
one of the things that I know everyone's been saying that the opposition needs to come out and say what they're going to do. Look, we are 1 year to the election. We can't do that now. So the right time is going to come, and we'll put it. What is the opposition there to do, or the minority side as it is to point out what is not happening. My colleague here from Nairobi, Mama County, has spoken about food and fertilizer. I'm surprised she's very knowledgeable, and considering we're from Nairobi, we don't use fertilizer here. But she will tell you she distributes food here in Nairobi. We are always relying on food distribution. That shows you that this food issue, we've not sorted it out. It's still an issue.
Food security.
Yeah? When it comes to health, allow me not to go through it. You know what's happening with SHA and all that.
Are they teething problems? Because they're success stories. There are people who went and...
You have certain cases, but to me, the ip is the way at times they have to shut down the system, the way at times private hospitals are the ones benefiting. I want to see Mama Lucy Hospital, which is in Embakasi Central, where your office is at, that they can have 20 dialysis machines, not 4, and at times only 2 that are working. So something is not right with our health system.
That's where your senator needs to do some work.
I want to see Kenyatta Hospital, you want to see beds and all that, improved infrastructure. So for me, SHA is benefiting private individuals and not working for the system at all. When it comes to even these houses, one of the things that really bothers me is when somebody comes to my office and tells me, Mheshimiwa, I want to apply for a house. How do you help me with this thing? And we go through that whole system and they're all getting rejected. So for me, these houses, if they're being built, the people who are benefiting, I can assure you, in my constituency in Embakasi West, which has over 150,000 voters right now, probably about 300,000 plus population, they have a challenge, and they have to apply for houses in other constituencies because we don't have jobs. That's an issue that's really bothering us. Allow me to just speak about Nairobi, because you raised one of the issues. One of the issues that I have an issue with how the government has run, and more so even the president. In 2023, Kura as an institution operated independently. It was maintaining roads in Nairobi. It had its own roads through PPC contracts, and that was happening. When the president got involved in it, it became now politics. It means that somebody has to be singing in a certain way for these things to happen. Now, I've seen even Kura, which to me is not a problem because they signed an agreement, and as long as it's putting money in there, it's fine, that there are certain estate roads that they're doing. But now, institutions such as Kura, which is what you had Professor Ndongo saying, that the president is overrunning institutions. He has overrun this specific institution. It is not maintaining roads such as Outer Ring Road, which is one of their core roads. There's a road through South Sea if you go through the middle. I don't know when's the last time you used that road. You'll see how bad it has become. My own constituency have a road called Moi Drive. So when you talk even to the DG Kura, you talk to them, they're like, oh no, we have to follow this, the CS, why don't you talk to the president, find out what you... This wasn't there in 2023 when we were deep in fighting the government then. So to me, these are the issues that need to be held. And more importantly, even in Nairobi right now, and I'll tell you this, Jesse, and we will be back here. If the El Nino comes right now, because of what has happened here in Nairobi and things being done, this El Nino will cause devastation and loss of life, unfortunately, in the capital. Yeah. So to me, the president must allow these institutions to work. As I said, there's a majority and minority. Political parties allow those things to work, and this country will work.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much, Jesse. My biggest concern is that the kind of insecurity which we are witnessing in the country, whereby, and this is, if you want to know a system of a government is failing, is when you start seeing what we have seen in Kileleshwa. Young people driving, riding with a motorbike, walk into a cafe, fires up, collect all the mobile phones, disappear. I want to thank the police because that young man who did that was arrested in Matungulu and actually was shot dead.
Yes.
The insecurity issue is coming up because even this weekend, another team of thugs who stole a AK-47 from a police officer in the river. And I want to thank my OCPD because we work with him very closely at the constituency security team, because we have realized that most of these thugs, when they do murky things, they run to Matungulu. Those who are also gunned down over the weekend. The issue is that
the one escaped. Anyway,
the one escaped with
gunshot
wound. The other one was gunned down.
Yes.
If you realize that for a long time, the issue of gun mugging, gun had gone out. Now it's coming back, and it's coming back. Why? Because of desperation of lack of jobs. People feel oppressed. There is no money in the pocket. It has been promised. So my concern right now is that as we edge to the election, is that we might be seeing a serious issue of security. That's why we are calling on Murkomen to tighten his belt. Because if we don't do that, if we put together the insecurity issue and gang issue, plus the violence we saw over the weekend, I think this country will be worse than Haiti.
Heaven forbid for all those bad wishes and prayers, normally we say from your mouth to God's ears, but now I don't want.
In Nairobi and
it's all over, and I really commend. I like the fact that you commended the police force. Okay, let me just. I need to talk to the opposition right now. You need to talk to Sifuna to leave a bit of campaigning, get back to the Senate, and sort out Mama Lucy. Now, you may dislike the president, but you cannot dislike the facts. Okay. I did this because I really need to get this correct. Okay. Now, when it comes, before the opposition goes out and chants Ruto must go, they must tell us what will replace his policies, All right? Who will complete the houses, the roads, the hospitals, the markets, the infrastructure already under construction? You saw when just saying that not now, later. You know, you have to have a plan now. Removing a leader is a slogan. Replacing his programs requires credible plans.
All right.
Do not tell us Ruto must go. Tell us where you want to take Kenya. Kenya cannot be governed by permanent anger. This is the one I need to Sifuna to hear. All right. The presidency is not won by shouting the loudest. It is earned by presenting the strongest programs. Anger can mobilize crowds, but it cannot manage an economy. So for me, I feel that, you know, let's give our president a chance to continue serving this country, because we have a lot of work to do. As you're saying, we've got a lot of unemployment. We've got a lot of desperate youth. We need to focus on work, 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 not just politics, politics, politics. Let's focus on the people.
Asante.
I think,
briefly, kindly.
yes, thank you. Number one, let's give credit where it deserves. Kwa Kiswahili tunasema mkala muwe, lakini yake mpe. As we speak, in 3 years, we've seen our president has done far beyond expectation, even beyond the reach of the minds of many people. And I'm sure that's why some of people are turning against him with no agenda, just because they want to vilify him as a person and condemn him as a person with the word one term without justified grounds as to why they need to do it. How would you want to accuse a president in less than 3 years has finished Talanda Stadium? In less than 3 years already, Bomas of Kenya is coming up, a huge conference facility that will turn around our economy and creating jobs around here. How would you want to tell the president that has ensured that SGR, which had consumed a lot of money, is extended so that it gives economical viability, and it has started? How do you want to condemn the president that has connected, and even in Mount Kenya, the road so-called Mau Mau has already advanced, the road to Nyeri, the flyover in Nyeri. I mean, you go to every part of the country, things are happening. Northeastern, Mombasa, you go to Homa Bay, and as I was saying this, I mean, a voter in Homa Bay has texted me asking me, it is true, we have a road in Rusinga Islands. What I'm just trying to say is, yes, we have democracy. And the beauty of democracy is that vote determines. Okay. Let us campaign on the grounds of developing the country. Because even if you want to vilify the president, only in 3 years, tell me of a strategy that can be executed in less than 5 years and it works. That's why we always give a president, or we always raise a strategy plan of around 10 years. Because a good plan requires a systematic evaluation, designing, implementation until you finish, until you commission. It takes a whole more than 10 years. That's why the Constitution was wise to give 10 years. Of course, 5 years for someone to prove to Kenyans. And that's why William has done beyond in 3 years. Even if we want to condemn him in what way, he has already done it. He has tried to sort out the issue of universal health coverage. It is in the Constitution. Uhuru failed to do that. He has addressed the issue of food security. It is in the Constitution. He has addressed the issue of education, as we've said. CBC came in. It was a need. It was part of the agenda of Vision 2030. He has implemented it, and he has employed over 100,000 teachers. I mean, for God's sake, however much you want to view him in what failure aspect that you would want to give him, but give him credit where it deserves. Lastly, is again to speak about security issues. Please let us separate our politics from the insecurity. Let's call insecurity an insecurity issue. Let us condemn it, and let us support our police. I know as Parliament the other day we raised our budget to around 500 billion in our budget. Please, we want to ask IG Kanja, do your work. Minister, please do your work. Support security, concentrate on this one so that we have one country. We want to transit through election in the right way. Lastly is to tell my good friend Sagina Kalonzo, please improve. Kusema kwamba you want to abolish her for what? Please have an agenda. Give us a reason to talk to you. Some of us, we are not going to microphone to just say and attack you. We want to speak to your agendas, but we lack what to say to you.
We'll give you our agenda at the right time, at the right hour.
Okay, they don't want to let the cat out of the bag.
No, it's politics. I want an agenda, but I want the ingine.
It's Julius Ruto. Let's not go there. Surely. Na tumeenda tu vizuri. Withdraw and apologize. Withdraw and apologize, bwana. Aya, sawa. Esther Passaris, thank you so much for your time. Stephen Mule, asante sana for your time. Mark Mwenje, thanks for your time. That's how we wrap up tonight's edition of KTN Prime. Hope it was value for your time back at home. I'm Jesse Rogers. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. Good evening.